Good morning and welcome to another episode of Unscripted and Unchained RPG Review. I am Castlekeeper Bloodworth, and as you can see by the graphics, today I am doing a first look at a PDF that was shared with me from the creators of Wilderkind, which is part of the Chronicles of Aeres, and it is a supplement for Castles and Crusades. So it's a third party publisher supplement. So I'm certainly going to reference that as well as I go through this. And I've spoken to at least one of the two authors. I'm not sure which one it was, but we're going to try to make an arrangement for sometime this week for him to come on the channel, or possibly both of them, to come on the channel sometime this upcoming week, and have them chat about the process of making this supplement and what it was like utilizing the third party publishing details from Troll Lord Games, and for specifically Castles and Crusades. And I'm really looking forward to doing that because I certainly would like to begin publishing things for Castles and Crusades as well. So the person reached out to me and would say, "Hey, you know what? I see that he probably follows me on Twitter and sees. Well, actually, I know they do, and they see all of my commentary on Castles and Crusades. Already subscribed to my channel and see it coming up there all the time. So reached out to me and said, would I like a copy of the PDF to review it, and not necessarily to review it on the channel, but just to take a look at it and see what I thought about it. So I told him I would obviously review it on the channel, and here we go. I'm going to go right into it and start taking a look at pieces of it. And I'm not going to go through the whole thing because it is 66 or so pages long. And I'm just going to hit on some of the key points of what is in there. And then, and then go into deeper detail later on, possibly in separate videos, or certainly after the interview with him or both of them, and then go forward. So, without further ado, let's jump right into taking a look at this. So, Wilderkind, and as you can see, this is furry creatures and avians. So, furried and feathered creatures that are going to be your player character races. So, the Chronicles of Aeres presents Wilderkind, created by Greg Lambert and Franklin Mills. So, like I said, I'm not sure when they reached out to me if it's one, both, just um, under the Chronicles of Ares. So you can find them on Facebook, as they say. And here we have the Chronicles of Ares, which I guess they started producing this in 2021. And then Wilderkind is 2023. So this is an expansion of their already existing Chronicles of Aeres. And as you can see, Castles and Crusades is, of course, mentioned here. All right. All characters and entities appearing in this work are fictitious. So basically, pretty much a catch-all disclaimer. So there's a forward, an introduction, a natural history. So this is a both a setting book and some class kits, which I'll talk about a little bit, and then the various character races, which I will give you a glance at each of them. So these are all part of the character options section here, and then it gets down to special thanks and glossary. So let's take a look at where we start off. Now, already the art style is very nice. Like it. Um, Meant to be, meant to look like this. So you're not in a grim, dark, kind of setting or anything like that. It's full color art, so very nice. and and I will give credit to the internal artist. Let's actually do that when we find it. Da, 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 da. Maybe it's later. So here is the forward. And when we first started fleshing out the Chronicles of Aeres setting book for 5th edition, nearly 2 years ago at this point, we wanted to include animal like creature character options so that players could take up the mantles of the Redwall like adventures, the Rats of Nim, and even Robin Hood style swashbucklers. However, we didn't want the original book to be too heavily burdened with animal races since they're technically very rare within the world and shouldn't upstand the adventures of humans, elves, dwarves, and other traditional creatures, whom we wanted to be just as interesting, if not more so. So, although there are technically 12 different beastly breeds in Aris, in the first book, we consolidated most Wilderkind down to two generic categories, and they all shared the same stats and abilities. With this Wilderkind guide, we have the opportunity to transform each of the beasts into their own distinct races, offering some insights into their lives, personalities, and abilities. This expansion also marks a notable turn for us as game writers. We're moving towards Castles and Crusades by Troll Lord Games, a popular and excellent alternative system to 5th edition. The system simultaneously gives us more flexibility while presenting a more old school adventure style for players and GMs. Our original material will always be available for everyone looking for a 5e rule set. Also, Trollord Games offers free and concise instructions for very easily converting between the two systems. They have many similarities. You should be able to enjoy most of this book's contents without much prior knowledge of Ares. Nevertheless, to get the absolute most of the lore, we recommend checking out the Chronicles of Ares setting handbook as a companion. And if ratfolk are your favorite, definitely explore our ratfolk only adventure, Shadows of the Padfoot Alley. Thank you for your patronage. All right, so there we have the forward, and there you see the reasoning behind this. Right, is that this is their product moving, their publications moving towards another game system, and I would assume that you'll still continue to see perhaps support for both game systems in the future. Um, but here we go. So the introduction, I'm not going to get into the whole introduction at this point. I'm going to start talking about layout and such. So I like the layout of this. It's very pleasing to the eye, although I will say that it is not very print friendly. Um, so if I had the opportunity, instead of printing out these 66 pages, I would look more towards just buying a softcover copy of the book as well. So the nature and history, when to play as a Wilderkin, choosing a Wilderkin as your character might not be quick and easy tasks. Not only are they exceedingly small in number and little known outside the Grunkrist forest, but there are a vast number of humans and other folks who view them as ill omens at best, frightening monsters at worst. Of course, such prejudices are usually unjust and unfair, but still, traveling to distant lands of Eris, carrying the visage of fur and fang is hardly conducive to good health. All right, so they're kind of setting this up that this is, these are player options with some notable drawbacks, and this should be something that anytime your player is playing a race of their character that is uh, really outside of the norm for a particular region, or they might even be the first of their particular race or species or whatever you want to call it entering into this place. And so there's going to be the role playing challenge of actually addressing that. I mean, it will be a challenge for the castle keeper or the game master, and it's going to be a challenge for the player as well. And it's important to do that. It's important to emphasize the fact that most of these fantasy world settings that you're going to encounter, whether it's Dungeons and Dragons or Castles and Crusades, are going to be human centric, and of the other races, they're just more rare, or certainly uncommon at best. And so, it's an important mindset to create for the players and for the game master to help develop that mindset for their players. So I'm going to keep on scrolling through. Like I said, the art is really nice. I like it. It's actually very similar to some of the art that you see in Castles and Crusades as well. I don't know if that was intentional, um, because I haven't seen the original world book yet. So that's certainly something I'm going to ask them in in our interview. I love this map. I mean, I just like the effect of it, where it's darker on the outside, and it kind of brightens as you get closer to the content of the information, and you can actually drop this into any very secluded forest, regardless of the world that you're in. Like, I'm preparing to start running a Greyhawk campaign using Castles and Crusades, and I could definitely see taking some of these character races and plopping them in to any secluded, dark and less traveled forest, where it's almost like walking into an Alice in Wonderland kind of situation for the player characters, and they could discover something that's a lost, a lost forest community of these beings. So definitely can be used. So we have here the Argent Draconover. I'm not going to try to pronounce these. I think I have it right though. They seem to be Nordic, so I don't see any the hard R's at the end of these things, which has a sh sound to it. So the Argent Draconover is good dragonkin. Um, Argent, I'm pretty sure, means silver. Um, the Bjorn Navir, which are bear folk. The Akor Navir is the squirrel folk. The Grevenir, badgerkin. Then we have rabbit folk or hares. We have wildcat folk. We have weasel or otters. We have foxkin. We have rat folk. We have raven folk, and we have cursed dragonkin. So tainted dragon. So evil dragonkin, and then wolfkin. Now, I'm sure that in some cases, like when these types of beings are first encountered, um, that they might be mistaken for were creatures, which I do not believe that they are. But that could also be part of the mystery and the mistrust that might get directed at them. So there's a lot of information here. Um, Badger's custard tart. Pastry ingredients: 1/2 cup of butter, 2 cups of flour, 1/3 cup of water, 1 tablespoon of salt. Teaspoon of salt. Custard ingredients: 1 and 1/2 cups of sugar, 1 cup of fatted milk, 1 cup of cream, 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon, 6 egg yolks, and 1 splash of rose water. Do we have any instructions on? You're going to roll it out while waiting, thrash the yolk. No, no temperature reading. So, um, but I'm thinking you probably try to make this. That'll be for the OGGM. He can test this out and eat it, so we don't have to. I mean, it's quite possible that you can make this. It might also be a totally um, copied recipe to begin with. So we're going to keep on going, and so far all of this. So here we get to the character options. Council of the Silver Flame. I'm guessing that we will come across that a little bit later. Wilderkind traits. So they are beast friend. Wilderkind can speak with normal animals of their own breed or animals closely related to their breed. Redivere can speak with rats and mice. Ravenvere can speak with ravens, crows, and magpies. Mustavere can speak with weasels, stouts. I don't know that, or and otters. I don't know what a stout is. Interesting. Um, and we keep on going. Speak with animals spell and its effects should be left at the castle keeper's discretion. The ability follows the same rules. All right. Immutable essence. Since the Wilderkin were born through transformation, they have a natural spell resistance of 12 to any spell or magical effect. Okay, so sure of foot, any Wilderkin born in Gruncrist forest cannot become lost. There, regardless of the terrain, obstacles, or weather, the forest of mystery is their home from a young age, and they're masters of navigating its trails, well worn or not. Um, the two distinct factions make their homes exclusively in Runecrest. These heroes are warriors of legendary renown, but their members are almost entirely Wilderkind, and thus entry into these secretive orders is restricted. So we have the Order of the Silver Flame. They are knights, basically, available only to Argent Draconian type creatures. Alignment restriction, good only. Becoming a member of the Order, it goes through the various initiation rites and such. Like I said, this is a first look. We have the Wilder Guard. Rangers, Combat Marauder, and Move Silently are modified. All other abilities remain plus more. Available to any Wilderkin, Elf Gnome, Forest Gnome, i.e. Dramer, or Kobold. Alignment restrictions, non-evil only. Continue on through. So now we get into the various races. And one thing I did glance at very quickly is the character traits. And this is the Castles and Crusades layout for character traits, right? So you have the same, basically the same framework for the same information block. So very, very easy to just take these and import them directly into your game if you're running Castles and Crusades. So very cool. Sounds like I'm getting a delivery, so apologize for the sounds. I like that. That's pretty cool looking. Let's see if the ravens get flight. Um, movement 30 feet. It doesn't appear that they get flight. They feather lightfall. Oh, raven are wingless. All right, so that answers that. Uh, but their bodies are remarkably lightweight, with the most of their bulk being comprised of feathered plumes. They can fall up to 10 feet without taking damage or requiring a dexterity check. At this distance, they always land on their feet. After 10 feet, falling damage progresses normally, but they should be allowed a dexterity check to take only half damage regardless of the height. Additionally, their light bodies grant Ravenfolk plus one, two to any attribute check related to jumping and leaping. Um, I would have probably increased that a little bit. I would have made it more than just 10 feet of not having to take any, not having to roll or take damage. I would have possibly said 10 feet, no damage and no roll. 20 feet, no damage if they make their roll, and then half going beyond that. Mystical mimicry unlocks its second level thanks to their pre pre preternal preternatural ability to chronicle and recall information. Preternatural. I wonder where they're from. um, could be UK or something, and they're just throwing some words at me I've never come across before. Um, even though that's English, I know, or maybe they're in the Netherlands or something, which is possible as well, considering the Nordic nature of some of their nomenclature. I skipped over this one real quick. Like I said, I'm going to spend more time going over each of these races to be included. Um, Squirrels, I like them too. Pretty cool stuff. A fox. They probably make good bards. Ranger, rogue modifiers, ranger modifiers. Nothing for bard. Interesting. Most people are going to assume that a bear like this is a werebear. They're going to probably have a strength modifier, I would think. Yeah, +3. That's huge. -2 dexterity, charisma, and intelligence. They make good for barbarians, fighters, knights, paladins, and rangers. Barbarian modifier combat sense is a +4. They move kind of slow, 20-foot movement. Um, Bears are actually pretty fast, so and they're only medium sized. Um, yeah, again, they have natural weapons. They have rested spirits. They have bear skinned rage. A lynx. Gonna have high dexterity. Yep. So assassins, bards, druids, illusionists, rangers, rogues, and wizards. And I will spend plenty of time with this. So this is the Tainted Draconian, or Dracovir, and they're slow. Oh, they do have flight, but they can only fly 10 feet. 20-foot ground, 10-foot flight. I'm pretty sure they could be any but good alignment. I thought I saw that earlier on someplace. Yeah, so I talk about adventuring as a tainted Draconvir. Okay, and well, we're almost flipped through the entire thing. Um, there's a special thanks. So let's see where the art came from. Um, Special thanks to our artists and helpers, Alejandro Castellanos. Um, he does art. All right, so that's some of the art. Um, Alexander Johnson, also some of the art. Um, Andrei Glumkov for Twitter Sneaky. Ninda. This must be all the art. Frank Mills is the production designer and director. They give special thanks to Mac Wilson, ArtStation.com, uh, Trollord Games, and Alpha Flight Talking, Twitter Alpha Talking. Okay, and their contributors. So Stephen Chenault had contributed, so he's one of the lead people at Trollord Games. So they certainly contributed and helped out. James Grim Jim Desborough is here as well, making me think that they are, in fact, European designers. See if I pick up any other names that jump out at me. Wilson Chenault. I don't know if they're any relation to Stephen. Probably, but. And then a glossary. And Dueling Dragon Adventures. So you can get this on drive through. Let me switch views here. So you can get this on drive through. I believe it was $6.99 PDF. It is 66 pages long, so full amount of pages, and that tends to be a fairly common price that I see. Basically, $1 for every 10 pages is something that I'm starting to see more and more often. And so I think that's a pretty fair price for the amount of work that is going into this, especially this with the amount of art that they have, and the number of contributors that they have to it as well, and just the way that it's pretty well put together and everything. So definitely worth that price at for the PDF. I'm waiting to see if there's a soft cover because I'd love to pick one up, and I will take a look at their original book or their setting book and everything, and see how that works. And I can definitely see myself taking at least some aspects of this and inserting it into my upcoming campaign. So maybe not all of the races, but I might take a few of them and insert them here and there, and especially for those deep wilderness adventures and stuff. I think it would be pretty cool to do so. So I hope you like this video, and please feel free to subscribe and hit the alert button so you'll see other videos that are coming up. I am definitely looking forward to interviewing, either one or both of the primary writers of this, and looking forward to learn more about their process of integrating their stuff from moving it from 5e over into Castles and Crusades, and looking forward to that conversation. And as always, enjoy the rest of your weekend. I know for many of us this is Memorial Day, so Memorial Day weekend. So tomorrow is actually Memorial Day, and I will be doing a video commemorating that. My father was a World War II vet, so I'm definitely going to do a video in his remembrance and honor, and just continue playing and enjoying your time with friends and continue following the channel and just be always on the lookout for a new game, a new supplement, a new world setting or whatever to keep on expanding your experience within the tabletop role playing hobby. There's so much good stuff that's out there, and oftentimes a majority of it runs under the radar, and that's what I really like about what I'm trying to do with my channel is to continue to just open people's eyes to all of these other things that are out there to take a look at. So and if this is your thing, if you're looking for you know the furries role playing, you know this is definitely a product that you might want to take a look at. So as always, have a great day, take care, and I will see you in the next video.